this morning. They are now south of SouthAfricaDjChiTorPMsafariLIVE, which is a waterhole in the middle of Djuma. They've walked a good 3 or 4 kilometers sometime during the middle of the day. Ralph was doing his runs around quarantine clearings, didn't see anything then. It is the strangest behavior for lions, as I said, except, of course, as I mentioned, they are a long way north of their territory. This, where they are now, is pretty much the northern boundary. The road just to the south of here tends to be the northern boundary of the Styx Pride territory. So very interesting that they've come all the way down here, and what a relief to have some lions. I think they probably were chased by elephants, you know, and that just inspired them to move a bit. What inspired them to just flop down in this particular piece of road where they are now, I just couldn't tell you. If you weren't on drive this morning, they very unkindly murdered one of our wildebeest last night. I was very pleased for our wildebeest because they'd remained unmolested by lions for so long, and thankfully it wasn't a little one, it was one of the adults. And then they finished it up. It's in their bellies now. No happy ending like there is in Red Riding Hood, for example, where the predatory wolf doesn't actually kill his prey, he just eats them up, and then they chop the prey out of the wolf's tummy. It's not like that out here, I'm afraid. The wildebeest is gone. It was devoured in short order. Anyway, here we have the Styx Pride, and it's really nice to be reacquainted with them. I mean, the last time I saw them, I think it was last year sometime. It was 2 females and it was 1 mangy cublet. Now, since then, obviously we've got all 3 adult females here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it 5 sub-adults? No, there are 5 cubs. 1, 2. No, there aren't. Let me count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 sub-adults and 3 cubs. That's too many, isn't it? No, that's right. 1, 2, 3. That's right, yeah. Yeah, 11 lions. That makes sense. 3 adults, 3 cubs, and 3 sub-adults. 5 sub-adults. Some irritation with lions occurs when they are trying to find things to eat, or they're at a kill. And if you watched this morning, I don't know if you caught them eating their wildebeest earlier this morning, but what they do is they fight with each other over the meat. So they become very irritated with each other. And then they can also get irritated if you find them on foot, for example. And if you find them on foot, they can sometimes get angry and come towards you and growl. Sometimes they get irritated and just move away. But it's anything that makes them feel fear or threat. So it's fear largely that makes them feel angry, or anything that threatens their food. And then mothers become irritated if you get too close to their babies. Just amazing. I'm really very interested that they moved down here, and you know, we found the tracks and we thought, the evidence was very plain. They had moved from where they were, but I was unable to get over my completely prejudiced impression that they don't move in the day and that they therefore must be where they were left this morning. So it didn't matter how much evidence there was, I was unable to get over my, what they call, confirmation bias, I suppose. Very interesting. And some people, of course, will be much less likely to be prone to confirmation bias. And I was completely prone to it today. Here comes one. There's a moving lion. Monique, I don't know. I haven't seen them for so long. But I suspect somebody might. That cub there, the one that's just flicking its tail, looks like a little female. And maybe that big elephant that came past chased them. No, but he would have been behind them, wouldn't he? That's a young male. That subbed out there is a young male. The one with the sort of mangy elbow. That's him. The far end, yeah. That's a young male. I just saw him flick his tail up. Look at this look at that little one just in front of that male. Oh, that one's just as cute, actually. That's a little female. That is the happiest lion cub in the world. Oh, that's too wonderful. Then the one to the left of it, Dave, you can see is hugging his face. Just right of that. There we go. He's got his little left paw over his face. All too corpulent to think about moving at the moment, especially after the long trudge they had down here. Donnell, yes, there is mange in this pride, and it seems to be an ongoing problem that won't go away. Although, they seem to be coping all right at the moment. Now, I don't know how long you've been with us, Donnell, but this pride lost, gosh, it was so long ago, I think it was 8 cubs. 8 cubs to mange. And it was introduced to the pride, we think, by the Birmingham boys. And, of course, much like with any human disease, mange will take its toll far more on the young, the old and the infirm. So the little cubs, all of them, one by one, succumbed to the mange. And while it's not necessarily fatal, basically what happens is it's so itchy. It's a mite that lives in the skin. It's so itchy that all of the hair eventually gets scratched out. And there's a nasty effect of exposure. And I think eventually the skin actually gets scraped away. And the animals lose condition and eventually they die. And they lost 8 cubs. Then they had another 3. And I think they lost 2 of those. Yes, they did. They lost 2 of those to mange. And it wouldn't surprise me if that young male that we've just shown you is one of the remaining ones from that litter. Now, I'm sorry to sound so clueless about this, but we see them so infrequently that it's very difficult to tell. Then the rest of them have definitely had bits and pieces of mange. You can see he's got the mange scars on his elbows there. But the rest of them are actually, the younger ones are looking fine. Now eventually the body does develop an immunity to the mite. It manages to fight it off. So if you can stay alive for long enough while you've got the mite, well, you can survive. So somehow I think this pride is surviving quite well. But they're definitely still affected. And if you look at the back foot of our favourite little female cub there, if you look at the back foot there, you can see that she's missing a bit of hair there. She's also got a mangy elbow on the front. That's it. But it doesn't seem to be really very nasty, and she's not scratching constantly. So I think actually they'll be fine. Now, I'm going to think quite carefully about mange and immunity to it, while Taylor, well, she's just driving about the place, really.